It all started when I inherited a rugged piece of mountain land from my late grandfather, a breathtaking property with pine trees, streams, and a panoramic view of the valley. It wasn't in a gated neighborhood. It wasn't part of a suburban development. It was private land, mine, free, and clear. At least, that's what I thought. Months after I began planning to build a small cabin, I drove up to the site one morning, only to find something shocking. A half-completed modern suburban house stood on my mountain lot. Construction crews were there, framing walls and running power lines. I thought I was on the wrong property at first until I checked my survey markers. No, it was definitely my land. Confused, I confronted the foreman. He casually said the HOA had approved the project and that I should take it up with the board. I was stunned. What HOA? My land wasn't in any HOA community. Yet here was a full construction project underway, as if they owned the place. That's when the nightmare began. I called the county and found out an HOA from the neighboring subdivision had filed paperwork claiming extended jurisdiction over parts of the mountain. Somehow, a clerk had stamped it without verifying ownership. They were expanding illegally, and my land was the first casualty. I immediately sent a cease and desist letter, no response. I called lawyers. The HOA doubled down, claiming that since they had already invested in construction, I was required to let them finish. They even slapped me with fines for interfering with community development. Imagine being fined on land you never agreed to put under HOA control. Weeks turned into months. Every time I visited, more construction had gone up, drywall, roof, even landscaping. My peaceful mountain retreat was being transformed into someone else's suburban dream. I tried negotiating, but the board president was arrogant. He told me, "You're one man. We're a whole community. You can't stop progress." That was the last straw. After exhausting every legal notice, I took matters into my own hands. I hired a demolition crew. With my deed in one hand and a county sheriff standing by, we tore that illegal house down to the foundation. Every wall, every beam, every tile gone. My mountain land was mine again. But the war wasn't over. The HOA sued me for destruction of community property. They demanded hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. Court dates, depositions, endless stress. They tried to drown me in legal fees, thinking I'd give up. Here's the twist. When the judge reviewed the land records, it became clear. The HOA had no legal authority over my property. Their expansion paperwork was fraudulent. The court not only threw out their lawsuit, but ordered them to pay me damages for trespass and illegal construction. The board president resigned in disgrace. The HOA had to fork over compensation for every tree they cut, every bulldozer track they left behind, every ounce of stress they caused. And me? I rebuilt not a suburban house, but a cabin, just as my grandfather had dreamed. Now every time I sit on that porch overlooking the valley, I remember one thing: stand your ground. Because sometimes the biggest bullies wear ties and call themselves community leaders. This story isn't just about one man versus an HOA. It's about property rights, personal freedom, and refusing to let anyone steal what's yours. If you've ever felt powerless against the system, let this story remind you, you can fight back and win.